The man without fear has returned to his rightful home. No, not Hell's Kitchen, though he really does love that place. We're talking about Marvel. 2 years have passed since Netflix's Daredevil beat his last goon into a bloody pulp, and the rights to the character have now reverted fully back to the House of Ideas. Charlie Cox's intense performance was pretty unanimously regarded as a highlight of the Marvel Netflix shows, and fans are eager for the actor to once again take to the rooftops in a suit of slightly distracted red body armor. The hashtag #SaveDaredevil was even trending for a while on Twitter. Whatever Marvel decides, it's a safe bet that we will see a version of Daredevil on our screens before too long. No, not you, Ben Affleck. The most famous Catholic ninja in comic books has been adapted for live action twice, and the most successful by far has been for television. Couple that with the less flashy, lower stakes nature of the character, and Marvel could well decide to keep him on the small screen. In the long term, that could result in his own show, but there's no reason why we could not see him before that, perhaps as a supporting player in one of the many Marvel shows that has been announced for Disney+. So where could he fit? It's way too late for him to make an appearance in WandaVision, and regardless, Daredevil in WandaVision would be a pretty extreme clash of vibes. It's a weird idea, really. A bad one, in fact. But how about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Or the Hawkeye series featuring Kate Bishop? Both of these shows will feature more grounded street-level action, and like Daredevil, the heroes are highly skilled human beings rather than aliens or enhanced types, making them all pretty evenly matched. Matt Murdock could serve as a potential mentor figure for Kate Bishop, or as a future adversary for Sam and Bucky, should their limited series return for a second run. You could easily imagine him playing a similar role to the Punisher in Season 2 of Daredevil, beginning as an antagonist with his own agenda, and eventually teaming up with the main characters as an uneasy ally. The She-Hulk show could also be an interesting entry point for Matt Murdock. Bruce Banner's cousin is a legal eagle based in New York after all, so why not introduce the blind lawyer from Hell's Kitchen as a professional adversary, trading cases for the prosecution and defense across a courtroom? Matt wouldn't even necessarily have to suit up as Daredevil at all, but the door would be open for him to do so in the future. But okay, sure, we've seen Daredevil pummeling lowlifes on the small screen. We want a big cinematic appearance. Not now, Ben Affleck. Marvel's Phase 4 slate is an interesting mixture, and if they wanted to test the waters with a brief guest appearance from Daredevil, there are a few possibilities, the most obvious being Tom Holland's third Spider-Man solo joint. Granted, there's already a lot that needs to be packed into that movie. You got your repercussions of Mysterio's actions in Far From Home, J. Jonah Jameson, and if rumors are to be believed, cameos from other Spider-Men, Spider-Mans, Spider-People? But a Daredevil appearance wouldn't have to take up that much space. And it's not like he and Spidey have not worked together in the comics before. Peter is going to need a good lawyer after being outed by Mysterio at the end of Far From Home.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker.
So could Matt Murdock offer his services to a fellow New Yorker? Or could they simply come across one another while chasing the same goon down the same dark alley? It would certainly make more sense to feature him here than, say, awkwardly hitching a ride with Thor, or in the Eternals where he'd stick out like a sore thumb with, all those overpowered immortal cosmic beings. Hard to imagine those guys needing the services of a lawyer. But Shang-Chi is another possibility. While again, it's unlikely that Marvel would try to squeeze Daredevil into that movie this late in the game, though a post-credit tease is not out of the question. He could conceivably appear in a future sequel. The two characters have a history in the comic books, having once teamed up to take down the Kingpin, and the Devil of Hell's Kitchen would fit pretty neatly into a story about mystical martial arts. He's dealt with a few of them in the past. And then there's Doctor Strange. We already know the Sorcerer Supreme is going to be tooling around the multiverse in his upcoming sequel, and parallel worlds present an extremely convenient method to introduce characters from separate continuities. A brief meeting in an alternate New York or even a quick visual gag would be all the confirmation we need that Charlie Cox's Daredevil remains part of the canon. It could be a goodbye, or it could be a backdoor to introduce the character in his own feature at a later date, or as a prelude to Matt Murdock teaming up with Blade to fight vampires. Come on, Daredevil and Blade fighting vampires, it writes itself. And as a bonus, by cementing the Netflix Defenders as canon, we might get to see Danny Rand again. You remember Danny Rand, right? Everyone loves Danny Rand. This guy. No? Okay. But cards on the table, there's really only one reason why we would want Daredevil introduced via the multiverse route. That's right, it's Crisis on Infinite Hell's Kitchens. It's into the Devilverse. It's Charlie Cox versus Ben Affleck. Or maybe not. Of course, the character has only been back with Marvel for a few days, and we don't even know if they have the rights to the Charlie Cox version. That particular iteration could remain with Netflix. The upcoming slate remains changeable due to the ongoing COVID-19 crisis, and it could be that the House of Ideas wants to wait until they can introduce their own spin on the Man Without Fear. Maybe it'll be a completely new actor. Maybe he'll be a supporting character in a Foggy Nelson solo movie. What do you guys think? Sound off in the comments, like, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.